On August 12, 2026, the most argued about superstar of his generation walked away.
Russell Westbrook has retired after 18 seasons in the NBA across the league's 7 different teams.
18 seasons, 1 MVP, 209 triple-doubles.
The desire that he plays with is crazy.
Ruthless, restless, in traffic, what a pass by Westbrook. Westbrook makes the defensive play of the game.
Humbly speaking, I'm the best rebounding guard ever.
A record nobody thought could ever be broken. He broke it by 28. And within an hour, the internet did what it always does with Russell Westbrook. It split in half. One side screaming overrated, one side screaming misunderstood. Here's what nobody's telling you. They're both wrong, and so was almost every talking head who ever covered him. By the end of this video, I'll show you the one number that ends this argument forever. And I'll give you a straight answer to the only question that matters. Was Russell Westbrook overhyped, or was he actually that good? Let's do the autopsy. Before we bury anybody, let's be adults. You cannot understand why Westbrook is a tragedy until you understand how genuinely, physically terrifying he was. A 6'3" guard who played every possession like the building was on fire, and he was the only one who noticed. In the 2016 season, Kevin Durant left.
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar. Plain and simple. That's just how I look at it. They were up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals. Not one, not two, but 3 different times. He was 48 minutes removed from getting to the NBA Finals by winning the Western Conference. 3 times he failed. And you depart for the team that beat you when you're on the cusp of getting to the finals yourself or ultimately winning the championship for the franchise that you've been with since you come into the NBA. I think it's incredibly weak. And he ran away from the challenge that he faces, and I think it's the weakest move I've ever seen by a superstar, plain and simple.
Everybody wrote Oklahoma City's obituary. Westbrook responded by averaging a triple-double for a whole season.
I got the body from Jim Ellis, but I had switched the motor.
31.6 points, 10.7 rebounds, 10.4 assists. The first man to do it since Oscar Robertson in 1962. He won MVP. And then he did it 3 more times, 4 triple-double seasons. Oscar Robertson did it once. Nikola Jokic later joined the club. Westbrook did it 4 times. 2 scoring titles, 3 assist titles. The only guard in NBA history to lead the league in both scoring and assists in his career. 5th all-time in assists. 14th all-time in scoring. So let's kill the first myth right now. Anyone who calls Russell Westbrook overrated never watched him and can't do math. You don't accidentally break a 47-year-old record by 28, which is exactly what makes the rest of his story so painful. Because that same engine is what cost him everything. To understand the tragedy, go back to the one team that actually made sense. Oklahoma City, 2012. The Thunderclaw, back from down 0 and 2 to beat the Spurs and reach the finals. Durant, Westbrook, Harden, the youngest core the league had seen in a generation. Westbrook is 23 years old and already a top 5 two-way guard on earth. They run into LeBron's heat and lose in 5. Everyone in that building assumed the same thing. We'll be back. They never were. And this is where the tragedy actually starts. Because the universe kept handing Westbrook reasons to double down on doing everything himself. First, the front office traded James Harden, a future MVP, over a few $1 million in luxury tax. Then, the very next spring, Westbrook tears his meniscus in the playoffs.
42-41, and Westbrook, part of the knee of Russell Westbrook. He is really upset with Beverly right now.
He had never missed a game in his life. The one healthy season that title window needed, gone. The Pope. So the franchise becomes Westbrook's. And when Durant leaves for Golden State in 2016 to join a 73-win team, the team that had just beaten them, it isn't just a departure, it's personal. Westbrook nicknames him Cupcake. He is done being anybody's second option. And here's the fork. He could have forced his own way onto a super team. Everybody was doing it. Instead, he stayed in a small market and tried to beat the most talented team ever assembled by himself. And it worked. In the most seductive way possible. A triple-double season, an MVP, a city that worshipped him. It was loyal, it was defiant, it was heroic, and it was the exact wrong lesson. Because it worked just enough to convince him that his way, the do everything myself way, was a winning way. It wasn't. The next 4 teams proved it. Here's where the misunderstood crowd loses the argument. Russell Westbrook shot 43.8% from the field for his career and 30.8% from 3. For a guard in the modern NBA, that's not a footnote, that's the whole ball game. Basketball, at the highest level, is a game of efficiency and sacrifice. Westbrook's whole identity was the opposite: volume and dominance. Washington, 2021, he averages a triple-double again. His 4th historic numbers. The team goes 34-38 and loses in the first round. That's the phrase that follows him forever. Empty calorie triple-doubles. The stat sheet screams superstar. The scoreboard whispers first-round exit. Then came the ending nobody saw coming. 7 franchises in all, 6 of them jammed into his final 7 seasons. The Rockets, reunited with Harden, and it lasted exactly 1 year. The 2 guards who couldn't share a ball as kids proved they still couldn't as grown men. Then the Wizards chasing history on a team going nowhere. And then the one that broke the illusion completely.
The Washington Wizards agreeing to send that man, Russell Westbrook, to the Lakers.
The Lakers, his hometown team. The summer of 2021, they trade away half their depth to get him. And the hype is deafening.
He's a future Hall of Famer and one of the best players in the NBA, but his trade to the Lakers now lands him on his 4th team in 4 years, leading some people to wonder why he moves around so much.
LeBron, Anthony Davis, and a former MVP. On paper, terrifying. In reality, a non-shooter dropped next to 2 stars who needed the floor, spaced. Every drive was a defender sagging off, daring him to shoot. The Lakers didn't just underachieve, they went 33-49 and missed the playoffs entirely. Not the play-in. The playoffs. By March, his own coach was benching him in 4th quarters, and his own building, the building he grew up dreaming about, started chanting a nickname: Westbrick. The cruelest 3 seconds of his career on a loop.
His trade to the Lakers now lands him on his 4th team in 4 years, leading some people to wonder why he moves around so much.
Westbrook off the glass, badly misses. You hear the groans from the crowd. He's hearing some boos. Not the first time this year. Westbrook thought about it. Crowd kind of telling him no.
Russell Westbrook looks broken. And when I say that, I never seen him lack this much confidence as a player. Forget the shooting. His spirit is just not there.
Kevin Durant was your teammate. James Harden, Serge Ibaka, Victor Oladipo, Paul George, James Harden again, Bradley Beal, and now LeBron James and Anthony Davis. If you end your career with 0 championship, with all of those dudes as your teammates, that's a damn problem.
So, case closed? Overrated after all? No. Because here's what the haters skip. Watch what happened at the very end, the most important evidence in the whole case. With the Clippers and then Denver, an older Westbrook did what people swore he never could. He came off the bench, he accepted a role, he played winning basketball, defense, energy, picking his spots. And he earned genuine respect back. He could adapt. He proved it. Which means all those years, he chose not to. That's the tragedy in one sentence. The sacrifice he made at 35 is the sacrifice that would have won him a title at 28 and put the human being back in this. Off the floor, one of the most respected men in the league, the Why Not Foundation, reading rooms across Oklahoma City, never a locker room problem. Teammates loved him. The effort was never a lie, it was the most honest thing about him. So let's ask the question the highlight reels never do. What would a championship have actually cost Russell Westbrook? Because it wasn't talent. He had more raw ability than half the ring wearers of his era. It would have cost him the ball. It would have meant taking 15 shots instead of 25. Standing in the corner while somebody else cooked. Becoming a connector instead of an engine. Shooting the open 3 until it stopped being a punchline. Every single thing that made him a walking triple-double is a thing a championship version of him would have had to give away. That's the cruelest part. For most stars, the counting stats are a step toward winning. For Westbrook, the counting stats were the ceiling. The triple-double wasn't the vehicle to a ring. It was the thing standing between him and one. He would have had to become less spectacular to become a champion. And he decided, over and over, that he'd rather be spectacular. So then, why did we spend 15 years calling him a punchline? That brings us to the part almost nobody in the media wants to admit, because the loudest voice in the Westbrook story was never Westbrook. It was the coverage. And the coverage got him wrong in 3 specific ways. 1. The stat shaming. The same media that crowned him MVP for chasing a triple-double turned around and accused him of padding it. Rebound hunting. Teammates leaving boards for him. They built him up for the exact thing they later tore him down for. You can't do both, they did both anyway. 2. The flip-flop. Watch the narrative whiplash. 2017, greatest individual season in half a century. 2022, unplayable, washed, a contract to dump. Same player, a few years apart, and the take swung 180 degrees with the standings. That's not analysis, that's weather. 3. The punchline. They reduced a first ballot Hall of Famer to a nickname, Westbrick, a meme. And in doing it, they trained a whole generation of fans to argue about the wrong thing, to treat a man with 209 triple-doubles as a debate instead of a fact. Here's the media's real crime. They spent 15 years asking, is Westbrook actually good? That was never the question. Of course he was good. The question they should have asked was, why won't the greatest athlete on the floor change one thing to win? And that's a harder question. It doesn't fit in a hot take segment. So they never asked it, which brings us back to the promise from the very start. The one number that ends the argument. It's not 209 triple-doubles, not the one MVP, not 0 rings. Plenty of legends have 0 rings. It's this. .308. His career 3-point percentage. That number is the whole story in 3 digits. It's what happens when a top 5 athlete of his generation decides that changing his game is a bigger insult than losing. It's the receipt for every contender that got worse. It's why the triple-doubles were called empty. And it's the one flaw he could have fixed with video proof from the end of his own career that he was capable of fixing it all along. So here's the straight answer to the question everyone's fighting about. Was Russell Westbrook overhyped? No. Overhyped means the hype outran the substance. His substance is an MVP, a scoring title, 4 triple-double seasons, top 5 all-time in assists, and a record that will outlive everyone watching this. You cannot overhype that. It's already the ceiling. Was he overrated? No. And here's the why. Because this is the part that matters. Overrated means people rate you higher than you deserve. But the loudest crowd rated Westbrook lower than he deserved. They turned him into a meme. If anything, by the end, he was underrated. The greatness was never the illusion. The illusion was the idea that the greatness was ever in doubt. So what was he? Russell Westbrook was genuinely undeniably great. A first ballot Hall of Famer and the most relentless regular season force the modern NBA ever produced, who was failed by one thing. And it wasn't talent. And it wasn't the media. It was himself. He'd rather lose his way than win someone else's. That's not a fraud. That's not a victim. That's a great player who wrote his own tragedy in triple-doubles. The debate was never if he was great. It was what kind. And now you've got the answer nobody on either side wanted to say out loud. He was great enough to be a legend and stubborn enough to stay a debate. So tell me I'm wrong. Comments. Tragedy or a legend the game just wasn't built for. I read everyone. And if that number shocked you, wait till you see the 3-point percentage of the superstar the media still calls the most unselfish of Westbrook's era. That one's next, don't make me tell you twice. This is Primetime Sports. Why not?